The premise of this series is that I'm 34 years old. I'm 2 years older than Selena Gomez, the same age as David Henry, but I didn't watch Wizards of Waverly Place in my youth. And now, at age 34, I am watching it. And so I will have commentary on it that will be the commentary of an adult who is watching Wizards of Waverly Place and never watched it as a child. I hope you enjoy. It's going to get weird. Episode 1 introduces us to the premise of the show. So, Selena Gomez and her siblings are wizards. Uh, and her dad used to be a wizard, but isn't anymore. Her mom is a muggle. I guess they call them mortals in this show, but I'm probably just going to call them muggles. I'm never going to learn any of these characters' names. So, Selena Gomez is Selena Gomez. Her dad is Selena Gomez's dad. Her mom is Selena Gomez's mom. Her older brother is Selena Gomez's twink brother, and Selena Gomez's younger brother is Selena Gomez's little brother. So, just for reference, that's what I'm going to call them. But the premise of the show basically is their dad teaches them wizard lessons. And eventually there's going to be a contest where they all have to compete in some sort of set of trials to decide which one's the best wizard. And it's never specified what age. It's basically like when you're ready, which seems fundamentally unfair to the younger siblings. I say as the youngest of three. But that's basically the premise of the show. You compete with your siblings eventually in a wizard contest, and the one who wins the contest gets to keep their powers, and then the others become muggles. But this episode starts out with Selena Gomez wanting to go to a crazy 10-minute sale, which is apparently this clothing store holds this sale annually where they just have a 10-minute sale and you trample each other to go get stuff. By the way, this is my set of notes. And I have a flashlight so I can look at the notes. So Selena Gomez is begging her dad to let her go to the crazy 10-minute sale. He doesn't want her to go because he wants her to do her lessons because it's important. He is her teacher, which I didn't mention earlier in this. Her muggle dad, formerly a wizard, teaches all of their children lessons and teaches them all the same lesson at the same time, which seems weird because they're different ages and should be at different levels, but they all learn the same lessons together. But she really wants to go to this crazy 10-minute sale. So she uses a spell to create a duplicate of herself in order to be able to trick her dad into thinking she is still in the lair, which is where they do magic, instead of going to the 10-minute sale. So she does this, and the duplicate is a complete zombie. It basically does nothing and just like collapses. But she pulls this off, the spell, and goes to the 10-minute sale. She has a rival at school. She goes to a muggle school and can't tell people that she's a wizard, but that's unclear. Is there an international statute of secrecy like there is in Harry Potter? They're not supposed to let muggles know that they can do magic, but it's completely ambiguous. But she has this rival whose name is like Gigi or CC or something. I'm going to go with Gigi. Flip a coin. Let's figure out if that's right. Tell me in the comments. But Gigi is like this rich girl who's all popular, and she had a nose job and rubs it in people's faces. Also, by the way, can 14-year-olds get nose jobs? I don't know. But her best friend is named Harper. And Harper's a little weird. She like makes all of her own clothes and they're weird, and she like, I don't know, wears a sunflower as an outfit. She says in this episode that she bought her sunflower top and rainbow socks in the preteen department, which okay, I guess. Um, but so basically, the plot of the show, in this episode, is that Gigi or Cece goes. Sorry, my cat's making noise. But Gigi or Cece tries to hide outfits in a certain section in order to be faster at getting them than all the other people in the 10-minute sale. The person who works there is like, well, that's not in the spirit of the 10-minute sale, which made me laugh pretty hard. But yeah, so Gigi is really mad, really mean, and makes insults toward Selena Gomez, like, you've got problems. And all of her lackeys respond, haha, that's such a good insult, which it's really not, right? That eventually, basically, it burns up in her face, in Selena Gomez's face. Her dad catches her because, like, her mom comes and shows up and is trying to buy stuff at the 10-minute sale. But that's about it. That's the episode. It sets it up kind of well on what this is like. Selena Gomez is a rebel, and her twink brother is like a genius, and her little brother is a complete idiot. So that's episode one. Episode one set up the premise of the show. Episode two sets up a few more things that are likely to continue happening, plus some characterization and relationships here. So, first of all, it sets up a pattern that Selena Gomez's dad teaches them the spell at the beginning that they're going to use later on. It's sort of a Chekhov's gun situation where, you mention it very early in the show and then it comes up later and is the important plot point. It's formulaic, and it happens in mostly every episode. Um, but it also sets up the concept that most episodes are Selena Gomez and her twink brother having the main plot, and then Selena Gomez's little brother having some sort of side plot, often involving their parents. But in this episode, they are mostly talking about their relationships. So Selena Gomez's twink brother is really into this girl whose name is, I'm going to say, Miranda. Uh, and he is really interested in getting his first kiss with Miranda. Well, Selena Gomez's best friend, Harper, is really into her twink brother, and is it's not even borderline sexual harassment. It is outright open sexual harassment in front of everyone to see, and nobody makes any comment about it, which is going to be a theme throughout the series, and I'm going to talk more in depth about later on. But in this episode, she makes a comment like, she ate a tuna fish sandwich in the presence of Selena Gomez's twink brother, and she's like, "Oh, tuna fish sandwich is going to be our sandwich." And then twink brother is very clear about the fact that this sexual harassment is unwelcome, and he's like, "Oh, well, there's my girlfriend," and like runs away. Um, but he's trying to get into a relationship with and or kiss this girl Miranda, and it comes out later that he is mostly just using her to have a first kiss, because he thinks that the first kiss is going to be awkward, and then if he kisses somebody, then somebody he'll like better will have a less awkward kiss. It's kind of fucked up, but they get into a situation where, at the very start of the episode, uh, Selena Gomez's dad teaches them the time reversal spell, and so, spoiler alert, they're going to use the time reversal spell later on in the episode. Well, the explanation of the time reversal spell is you can take time back. It's like 10 seconds or 20 seconds or something. Um, and muggles don't know anything about it. It reverses time for everybody, but muggles experience deja vu when the time reversal spell is used. So that's the explanation of why deja vu exists. So Little Brother's side plot is that he made this wonderful sandwich that some guy liked. And this is like the announcer for some sports ball team or something. And he wants it to be the official sandwich of the sports ball team. And it's a weird sandwich. It has all sorts of crazy ingredients. It has like gravy and cheese and who even knows? Mashed potatoes, I think, was one thing on the sandwich. I don't remember. He told his twink brother at the very beginning of the episode what it was, but then little brother's parents spend the rest of the episode trying to get Selena Gomez's little brother to remember what the ingredients were because he just improvised it. Well, it takes most of the episode for that side plot to get resolved, where Selena Gomez's little brother figures out what the ingredients are. But the main plot, Selena Gomez and her twink brother, is that twink brother wants to have a kiss with this girl, Miranda, and Selena Gomez, for whatever reason, wants him to have the first kiss. I don't even remember what the reason was. But she makes some comment like, let me pull out my notes. She says, Twink says, I know this is hard to believe, but I've never kissed a girl, which his characterization already has been, he's a huge nerd and isn't good with girls, though, like, look at him. But he was 18 when it came out. But Selena Gomez makes a comment in response, like, what did she say? I know relationships, even though, like, what is her experience with relationships? But she uses the time reversal spell because he messes up the first kiss the first time. They go to a movie theater where he's like trying to hit on her and she's into it, and then they try to kiss, and like he spills popcorn, and then he spills her Diet Coke or whatever the fuck she was drinking. But Selena Gomez keeps using the time reversal spell because I don't remember why, but she wants him to have a successful first kiss. And at this particular time, Selena Gomez's little brother is giving the samples of the sandwich to the deciding squad of the sports ball team to figure out if they will make it the official sandwich of the people. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention, their family runs a sandwich shop. So they like it the first time. And then the second time, and the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time, they're like, this seems familiar. This seems like it's not something new. And then they decide to reject the sandwich because they keep having deja vu about the sandwich. Anyway, eventually, Twink Brother has a successful first kiss with Miranda, or whatever her name is. And the episode ends with, like, Selena Gomez's dad being like, what did you do? And then nothing really happens. But yeah, that it basically establishes those premises, like Harper sexually harasses Selena Gomez's twink brother. Selena Gomez and twink brother kind of get into some sort of plot. And then little brother gets into a side plot. Continuing the Chekhov's gun theme, the episode starts on episode 3 with Selena Gomez's dad introducing the concept of pocket elves. So they have a machine in their lair that just generates pocket elves. And you just ask it for a pocket elf, and it spits out this Pokeball that has a pocket elf in it. And you can open it up, and the pocket elf comes out, and it'll answer whatever questions you have to ask. Which seems like they shouldn't just have this machine lying around in their lair, because these kids could definitely abuse it, which they do. Spoiler alert. So the dad introduces at the very beginning of the show, well, never ever feed a pocket elf chocolate because it'll go terribly badly, and never let a pocket elf bite you. It's the Chekhov's gun thing again. But so Selena Gomez fails Spanish, even though her mom is from Mexico. Her dad's from like, he was born in the US, but his grandparents or something were from Italy. Um, anyway, so she doesn't know Spanish. She's terrible at Spanish, and like probably should have learned Spanish a little bit earlier. So she has to retake the test or something, and she decides for that hey, I should generate a pocket elf in order to look into my purse and ask it, hey, what's the answer to this question, and have the pocket elf answer the question. This kind of works at first. And then she continues to have this pocket elf just sitting around in her purse with her. She ends up going on this date with uh, her, I guess, boyfriend. Also, date. It's like a group date with like 12 people. But it's to this fancy restaurant. And her twink brother and her little brother together realize, oh, this is probably a situation where we could pull a prank on her because Selena Gomez loves to pull pranks on them. Um, so they decide they're gonna go and they're gonna feed this pocket elf chocolate, and so they end up going, and this is Harry. um, they end up going and they talk to a waiter who catches them trying to sneak chocolate into her purse, and the waiter's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Well, that's our sister. She always pulls pranks on us." And this waiter is like, "Well, I have a sister also, so I'm gonna. I understand. I'm gonna do whatever you ask me to do." So they end up putting chocolate in her purse. The pocket elf goes absolutely berserk with this chocolate, and eventually ends up biting her. Turns out the reason why you shouldn't let a pocket elf bite you is then that you go as berserk as the pocket elf and end up like sliding across the room in chocolate. So she's like stealing chocolate from other people at the table. She's asking for more chocolate, and she like smears it all over the floor. She goes water sliding across the room in chocolate, and uh, everybody's looking at her like, "What the fuck?" But eventually, she gets in trouble for it, and that's really she doesn't get in that much trouble. It's like, you're grounded for like 3 days or whatever. Um, in retrospect, what happens with pocket elves after your mission is done? Um, you go and you ask them questions about your Spanish test, and then like, what happens to the pocket elf? Do you just like shove it back into the machine and the Pokeball sends it back to the factory, or is it like Pokemon Go, where like you send it to the professor who grinds it into candy, or what happens to the pocket elf? I don't know. Um, but yeah, bottom line is, Dad should have given more details about what happens with a pocket elf, and all of this could have been avoided.